So Senator Rand Paul got into a massive blowout with Dr. Fauci over COVID this morning. So this has just happened in the last hour or so. We're going to show you about a 3-minute clip here. And originally when I pulled the clip, I wanted to maybe cut it a little bit. You'll see a flash or two in there. But basically, I wanted to give you guys 3 minutes of really listen to what the debate is. Really listen. Like, I know it's a little bit technical, and I'll give you the full definition of what gain of function is after. But really listen to what Rand Paul is accusing Dr. Fauci of, and then listen to what Dr. Fauci says in a response. It's quite extraordinary. And I would just paint one other thing. I don't want to color your impression of this too much. But especially towards the end, listen to how Rand Paul is using a lot of bureaucratic language instead of giving just a clear answer. Did we fund gain of function? Just listen to how Fauci is sort of obfuscating what the answer might be. All right, take a look.
Dr. Fauci, as you are aware, it is a crime to lie to Congress. Section 1001 of the U.S. Criminal Code creates a felony and a 5-year penalty for lying to Congress. On your last trip to our committee on May 11th, you stated that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain of function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And yet, gain of function research was done entirely in the Wuhan Institute by Dr. Shi and was funded by the NIH. In this paper, Dr. Shi credits the NIH and lists the actual number of the grant that she was given by the NIH. In this paper, she took 2 bat coronavirus genes, spike genes, and combined them with a SARS-related backbone to create new viruses that are not found in nature. These lab-created viruses were then shown to replicate in humans. These experiments combine genetic information from different coronaviruses that infect animals but not humans to create novel artificial viruses able to infect human cells. Viruses that in nature only infect animals were manipulated in the Wuhan lab to gain the function of infecting humans. This research fits the definition of the research that the NIH said was subject to the pause in 2014 to 2017, a pause in funding on gain of function. The Wuhan lab used NIH funding to construct novel chimeric SARS-related coronaviruses able to infect human cells and laboratory animals. This is high-risk research that creates new potential pandemic pathogens that exist only in the lab, not in nature. This research matches, these are Dr. Ebright's words, this research matches, indeed epitomizes, the definition of gain of function research done entirely in Wuhan, for which there was supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain of function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function. Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans, right. You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about. Okay, you get one person.
Let's read from the NIH definition of gain of function.
Is that the grant that was funded as a sub-award from EcoHealth to Wuhan created SARS-CoV-2. That's where you are getting. Let me finish.
We don't know.
Well, wait a minute.
It did come from the lab, but all the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab, and there will be responsibility for those who funded the lab, including yourself.
I totally
This committee will allow the witness to respond.
I totally resent the lie that you are now propagating, Senator, because if you look at the viruses that were used in the experiments, that were given in the annual reports that were published in the literature, It is molecularly impossible.
No one's saying those viruses caused it.
It
no
is
one is alleging that
molecularly.
those viruses caused the pandemic. What we're alleging is that gain-of-function research was going on in that lab, and NIH funded it.
That is
you can't
not.
get away from it. It meets your definition, and you are obfuscating the truth.
Okay, so I hope you guys understand why I showed you the full clip there, because you can sort of see Fauci at the end trying to, well, we funded this and the paper that did this, that, the other thing. He's giving you a lot of bureaucratic stuff there. So previously, he had actually said that the NIH, the National Institute of Health, never funded gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab. Rand Paul is now saying that is exactly what you did, and we have evidence of it. So I can't sit here and tell you that I know which the truth is on that. Fauci's saying, well, Fauci's not exactly saying they didn't do it anymore, right? He's just saying the funding may have went to something else that was like sort of ancillarily involved, but not exactly. So let's just pause on that for a second. Let's just be clear about one thing. Rand Paul's making a very specific accusation. The NIH funded gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab. That's the accusation. Fauci, last time he was under oath, and that's why Rand Paul worded it the way he did, last time he was under oath, said that's absolutely untrue. This time he didn't quite exactly say that. But I thought I'd give you guys a clean definition of what gain-of-function is. Rand Paul explained it, I thought, quite well, but I thought if I could just give you the cleanest possible explanation, because this is all technical stuff. I'm not an expert in this. I know you're not an expert in this, but we need to know like some basics about this, right? So when you have a conversation with friends and family and they're talking about all of this stuff and lab leaks and everything else, that you have some ability to communicate some of this stuff. So gain-of-function research involves experimentation that aims or is expected to, and or perhaps actually does, increase the transmissibility and or virulence of pathogens. Such research, when conducted by responsible scientists, usually aims to improve understanding of disease-causing agents, their interactions with human hosts, and or their potential to cause pandemics. Despite these important potential benefits, gain-of-function research can pose risks regarding biosecurity and biosafety. So basically, they meddle with these viruses, and then the argument that Rand Paul is making is then it can basically jump to humans. And then if that then leaks out of the lab, we have a problem.